The year was 2087. The world had changed a lot since the early days of space travel. Humans now lived on Mars in small cities under big domes. They mined ice from Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Ships went back and forth between Earth and these new homes in space. Captain Susan Miller stood at the window of the United Earth Defense Force headquarters in Geneva. She watched the strange ship land in the open field. It was 3 times bigger than the largest Earth ship. Its metal skin shone with a blue-green light that no Earth metal could make. "They're here," said Alan Wright, the defense secretary. His face was tense. "The first aliens to visit Earth." Susan nodded. "And they didn't come to say hello." The news had spread fast 2 days ago. A ship from something called the Galactic Council had appeared near the moon. They had sent a message in perfect English. They wanted to talk to Earth's leaders. Now Susan and Alan were part of the team chosen to meet them. They walked out to the field with 20 other important people from Earth. The president, Jane Cooper, led them. The alien ship opened. A ramp came down. 5 beings walked out. They looked nothing like humans. The leader was tall and thin with skin that looked like green leaves. It had 4 arms and 2 large eyes that changed color as it looked around. "I am Ambassador Xalthorn of the Viridian species," it said in a deep voice. "I speak for the Galactic Council." President Cooper stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth. We are honored by your visit." The alien made a sound like rocks sliding together. "We are not here to honor you. We are here to warn you." The humans looked at each other. This was not what they had hoped for from first contact. Ambassador Xalthorn continued. "The Galactic Council has watched your kind for many years. You fight wars. You use up resources. You spread to new places very quickly. We have worked hard to make peace among our nations," President Cooper said. "We take care of our planet now. Yet you have already moved beyond it," the ambassador said. "Mars, Europa. Soon you plan to go to other stars. This is not acceptable." Susan felt her heart beat faster. The aliens knew about the Proxima Centauri mission being planned. They had been watching closely. "The Council rules over 300 species across this part of the galaxy," Xalthorn said. "We keep order. We control growth. Your kind grows too fast." Alan Wright spoke up. "What exactly are you saying?" "You will stop all plans to reach beyond your solar system. You will limit your colonies on Mars and Europa. If you do not agree, there will be consequences." "Are you threatening us?" President Cooper asked, her voice steady. "We are telling you how things will be," the ambassador said. "We will return in 6 months for your answer. Choose wisely, humans." The aliens turned and walked back into their ship. No handshakes. No sharing of knowledge, just a warning. As the ship rose into the sky, Dr. Olivia Patterson, the team's scientist, moved next to Susan. "They're afraid of us," she said quietly. Susan looked at her. "Why would they fear us? They have ships that can cross the stars. They rule hundreds of worlds." "I don't know," Olivia said, "but they came all this way just to tell us to stop growing. They see something in us that scares them." Susan looked up as the alien ship became a small dot in the sky. "Then we need to find out what that is. And quickly." The leaders of Earth had 6 months to decide: give in to the demands of the Galactic Council, or face whatever consequences meant to beings who could travel between stars. Susan Miller had a feeling that humanity was not going to like either choice. But maybe, just maybe, they could find a third option. 6 months passed quickly. Earth was busy during this time. Every nation talked about what to do. Some people wanted to fight. Others wanted to give in to the aliens' demands. Most were simply scared. Captain Susan Miller now worked at the main Earth defense base near the old United Nations building in New York. She helped plan what Earth might do if the aliens attacked. But it was hard to plan against an enemy they knew so little about. "They're back," said Alan Wright as he walked into the command center. His face looked tired. No one had slept much in 6 months. Susan looked up at the big screen. The alien ship was even bigger this time. It hung above Earth like a small moon. "They want us to meet them at the UN," Alan said. "The president is already on her way." When they arrived at the meeting hall, President Cooper sat at the center table. Leaders from every major nation were there too. They all looked worried. The doors opened. 3 aliens walked in. The leader was not the same as before. This one had a body like a jellyfish with many eye stalks coming out of the top. It floated above the ground in what looked like a clear bubble. "I am Representative Clorix of the Galactic Council," it said through a small machine that translated its words. "I bring the formal terms of our agreement with Earth." President Cooper stood up. "We have not agreed to anything yet." Clorix's eye stalks moved in different directions. "You misunderstand. These are not suggestions. These are terms you will follow." Clorix placed a small device on the table. It lit up and showed a 3D image of the solar system. "Your species develops too quickly," Clorix said. "Your hunger for resources is too great. The Council has decided you must be contained." Alan leaned close to Susan. "They're not even trying to be nice anymore." Clorix continued. "You may keep your bases on Mars and Europa, but you will stop all deep space programs. You will not try to build faster than light travel. You will stay in your solar system." "And how will you know if we follow these rules?" asked President Cooper. "We will place a station on your moon. It will watch Earth. It will report to the Council." The room grew quiet. The aliens wanted to put a spy base right next to Earth. President Cooper looked straight at Clorix. "And if we refuse these terms, then appropriate sanctions will be applied," Clorix said. The machine translated in a flat voice, but the threat was clear. "What does that mean exactly?" asked the leader of India. "Species that do not follow Council rules do not last long," Clorix said. "Some are moved to reservation planets. Some have their technology taken away. Some disappear." A cold feeling went through the room. This was a threat of extinction. "We need time to discuss," President Cooper said. "You have 1 Earth month," Clorix replied. "We will return for your answer." After the aliens left, the room exploded in angry voices. Some leaders wanted to give in. Others wanted to fight back. No one knew what to do. Admiral Jack Nelson stood up. He was the commander of Earth's small fleet of spaceships. "They are threatening us because they fear something about us," he said in a strong voice. "We need to find out what that is." He sent a message to all military bases around the world. "Prepare quietly. We don't know what's coming, but we need to be ready." Susan Miller looked up at the sky through the window. The alien ship was still there, watching. Earth had 1 month to decide its future. "We won't give up," she said quietly. "That's not what humans do." Little did the aliens know, humans worked best when backed into a corner. And right now, the whole human race had its back against the wall. Dr. Kevin Zhao had not slept for 2 days. His eyes were red. Empty coffee cups covered his desk at the Quantum Computing Research Facility in Colorado. The lights were dim. The only bright thing was his computer screen. "I think I found something," he said to the empty room. Since the aliens had given their ultimatum, scientists all over Earth had been working day and night. They needed to understand the enemy. Kevin was part of a team trying to learn the aliens' language and technology. He picked up his phone and called Dr. Grace Okafor in Nairobi, Kenya. "Grace, I broke into their communication system," he said when she answered. "Their security is not as good as we thought." "What did you find?" asked Grace. She sounded as tired as Kevin felt. "Their computers use the same basic math we do, but they haven't changed their codes in hundreds of years. It's like they stopped trying to make them better." Grace was quiet for a moment. "That matches what I found in their biology." Grace was a top scientist who studied alien life. She had been looking at the small bits of information they had about the Council species. "Many of these aliens evolved on planets with few dangers," she said. "They never had to fight to survive like humans did. They never had to change quickly." "So they're not used to adapting?" Kevin asked. "Exactly. They advance by living a long time, not by innovating under pressure. They've never met a species like humans before. We change and grow faster than they can understand. Kevin felt a spark of hope for the first time in months. I need to tell Admiral Nelson about this right away. In space, near Jupiter, more discoveries were being made. Commander Frank Rodriguez floated inside a small alien ship. This scout ship had flown too close to Earth's space station and was accidentally damaged by a repair robot. Frank and his team had been taking it apart piece by piece. They wore spacesuits because the air inside was not good for humans to breathe. "Look at this engine," Frank said to his team. "It's very advanced, but the design is simple. I think we can build something like it." "How long would it take?" asked Lily Banks, his chief engineer. "With normal research, 20 years maybe. But now?" Frank shook his head. "We don't have 20 years. We have 3 weeks until the council wants our answer." "Then we work faster," Lily said. "Humans are good at that." Back on Earth, Dr. Olivia Patterson met with military leaders from around the world. The meeting room was deep underground, safe from any alien listening devices. "What we've learned confirms our theory," Olivia said. "The council species are old. They have had technology for thousands of years longer than us, but they develop very slowly. So their advantage is time, not brains," said General William Chen. "Yes, and they fear us because we develop so quickly. In just 300 years, we went from horse-drawn carriages to spaceships. It took them thousands of years to do the same." Admiral Nelson stood up. "So we have a chance. If we can stall them, we might catch up to their technology faster than they expect." "But they're watching us now," said Susan Miller, who had been promoted to major. "Their ship is still in orbit. Soon they'll have a base on the moon." "Then we'll have to be sneaky," Admiral Nelson said. "We'll make them think we're giving in while we prepare in secret." The leaders nodded. A plan was forming. The Alien Council had threatened humanity because they were afraid. Now humans knew why. And knowing your enemy's fear was the first step to finding their weakness. The world leaders agreed to put on a show for the aliens. On the surface, Earth would look like it was giving in to the Council's demands. News reports talked about the closing of deep space programs. Scientists made public statements about respecting the Council's rules. But underground in the oceans and in hidden places across the solar system, humans were busy with other plans. Laura Chen worked in a plain office building in Singapore. Few people knew that she was now the head of the Human Advancement Initiative. This new secret group brought together the best minds from countries that had once been enemies. "We need to appear weak while becoming strong," Laura told the team leaders on a secure video call. "The Council is watching our official channels, so we'll build our real projects in places they won't look." In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, mining ships continued their work. To the aliens, it looked like normal mining, but inside the largest asteroids, humans were building factories and weapons. "Turn off all signals," ordered Hank Peterson, the mining colony leader. "We work in radio silence from now on. If the aliens can't detect us, they can't stop us." Workers converted mining lasers into weapons. Engineers built engines based on the alien technology that Commander Rodriguez had discovered. Scientists tested new materials that could withstand attacks. On Mars, the public terraforming project slowed down as ordered by the Council. Machines that had been turning the red planet green were shut down one by one. Council observers watched and were satisfied. But below the surface, in massive caves and tunnels, the work continued faster than ever. New living spaces expanded. Food production increased. Mars was preparing to be self-sufficient, just in case Earth fell to the aliens. "We need to be ready to survive on our own," said Ben Taylor, the Mars colony director. "And we need to be ready to fight back." Far beyond Neptune, in the distant part of the solar system called the Kuiper Belt, a secret mission was underway. Captain Stephen Jackson led a team to establish a hidden base on a frozen object the size of a small moon. If they attack Earth, Stephen told his crew as they built the base, "We'll need a place they don't know about. A place to hide. A place to plan a counterattack." The small outpost grew under the ice. Ships arrived in secret, bringing supplies and people. The base was named Hope Point. It was the furthest human settlement from Earth, and the Council had no idea it existed. Back on Earth, Major Susan Miller worked with Dr. Kevin Joe to study the alien monitoring systems. They found ways to feed false information to the Council observers. "They're watching our official communications and scanning for energy signatures," Kevin explained to the defense team. "But they're not looking for old technology." Susan nodded. "So we use paper messages and fiber optics that don't emit signals they can detect." "Exactly," Kevin said. "Sometimes going low-tech is the best way to hide from high-tech watchers." The alien monitor station on the moon was completed 2 months after the Council's ultimatum. Earth had officially accepted the terms, and the Council believed they had contained the human threat. The main Council ship left Earth orbit, satisfied with their success. Only a small team remained on the moon to watch Earth. "They think we've given up," Admiral Nelson said as he watched the alien ship leave. "That's our advantage." The aliens saw what appeared to be a humanity reluctantly accepting its place in the galaxy. They saw closed space programs and slowed development. They saw a species that had learned its lesson. What they didn't see were the secret factories, the hidden bases, and the determination that grew stronger each day. Humans were doing what they had always done best when faced with a threat: adapting, planning, and preparing to fight back. The silent resistance had begun. 3 years passed since the first contact with the Galactic Council. Earth had settled into what looked like acceptance of its place. The Council observers on the moon reported the humans were following the rules. Deep space missions had stopped. The Mars colony grew only at the approved slow rate, but it could not last forever. The breaking point came on a quiet Tuesday morning. The UES Curiosity was a research ship near Saturn. Officially, it was studying the weather patterns on the giant planet. In truth, it was testing a new communication system that would allow humans to talk across great distances without the aliens knowing. Captain Ryan Garcia watched his screens as the test was about to begin. "All systems ready. Begin the test in 5, 4, 3. He never reached one. A bright flash of light appeared on the main screen. Then nothing but static. "What happened?" Ryan asked his team. Did something go wrong with the test? The answer came from Earth an hour later. A Galactic Council patrol ship had destroyed the Curiosity. All 37 crew members were dead. The news spread across Earth and its colonies. At first, people were in shock. Then came anger. Professor Maria Valdez stood on the steps of the United Nations building. Her husband, Joe Valdez, had been the chief engineer on the Curiosity. "They claim to be civilized," she said to the large crowd and the cameras. "Yet they murder those who seek knowledge. They claim to be powerful, but they fear our potential so much they would kill to contain it." People across Earth took to the streets in protest. The Council had crossed a line. The alien representative, a tall being named Trell, called for calm. The vessel was doing forbidden research, it said on worldwide television. All species must follow Council regulations. But humans were not listening anymore. Vice Admiral Dwayne Johnson, commander of Earth's Defense Forces, called an emergency meeting of all military leaders. "The Council has shown their true intentions," he told them. "They will kill us if we try to advance. We cannot live under this threat forever." The leaders agreed. It was time to put their secret plans into action. "Operation Defiance begins tonight," Admiral Johnson told them. "Send the code to all our hidden forces." Across the solar system, humans who had been waiting for years received the simple message: Phoenix Rising. Major Nickel Parker led the first strike team. Their target was the Council's monitoring station on the moon. "Remember, we don't want to kill them if we can avoid it," she told her team as their ship approached the moon from the dark side where they couldn't be seen. "We want to show them we're not like them." Nichols' team carried special devices that Dr. Kevin Zhao had created based on his study of alien technology. When activated, these devices blocked the quantum signals the Council used to communicate. The team moved silently across the moon's surface. The Council station was a dome with strange spinning objects on top. The aliens inside had no idea what was coming. "Now," Nichol ordered. Her team placed the devices around the station and turned them on. Instantly, the spinning objects stopped. The aliens inside were cut off from their fleet and their home worlds. At the same moment, similar actions took place throughout the solar system. Hidden human ships emerged from their hiding places. Council observers on Mars found themselves surrounded. The small Council fleet that patrolled the solar system discovered their weapons and engines suddenly stopped working. On Earth, Admiral Johnson sent a message directly to the Galactic Council using their own communication channels. This alone shocked them. How had humans hacked their secure network? "For 3 years we have studied you while you studied us," he said calmly. "You threatened humanity because you feared our potential. You were right to be afraid." The humans had made their first move. Now the real test would begin. The Galactic Council was stunned by the human response. For generations, younger species had accepted the Council's rules. Some had fought back, but none like this. Humans had not just resisted. They had planned in secret for years. Across the solar system, the carefully hidden human forces revealed themselves. The Council ships found their weapons useless. Their communications stopped working. For the first time in thousands of years, the Council faced an enemy that had studied them and found their weaknesses. Dr. Lisa Brown sat in a hidden base inside the asteroid belt. In front of her was a device that had taken 3 years to build. It used the quantum nature of tiny particles to send messages instantly across any distance. "All human outposts, report status," she broadcast through the new system. One by one, voices responded from places the Council never knew humans had reached. Mars base secure. Council observers contained. Europa station operational. Their monitoring equipment is disabled. Jupiter mining colony ready. Defense systems active. Kuiper Belt base Hope Point standing by. Then came the most surprising response of all. Alpha Centauri advance post established. No Council presence detected. Despite the ban on traveling to other stars, humans had secretly sent a small team to the nearest star system. The Council's worst fear had come true. Humanity was already reaching beyond its solar system. On Earth, Vice Admiral Johnson received these reports with grim satisfaction. Then he turned to face the alien representative, Trell, who had been brought to the defense headquarters. "You see now what you have forced us to do," Johnson said. "We would have preferred peace. We would have happily joined your Council as equals. Instead, you threatened us and killed our people." Trell's 6-fingered hands shook. "The Council will send more ships. They will destroy your world for this rebellion." "They can try," Johnson said. "But first, they need to know we're here." He nodded to a technician who pressed a button. On the edge of the solar system, huge energy emitters activated. These devices sent a signal that could be detected across hundreds of light years. The message was simple: Earth was not afraid. Around the same time, Major Susan Miller led a team onto the alien ship that had been trapped in Earth orbit. The ship's crew watched in surprise as humans boarded without spacesuits. "We've adjusted our bodies to handle your atmosphere," Susan explained, though the aliens couldn't understand her yet. Earth scientists had developed drugs that let humans breathe the alien air for short periods. Susan's team went to the ship's control room. There, they connected devices designed by Kevin Zhao to the alien computers. Within minutes, they had control of the ship's systems. "Send the message," Susan ordered. The captured ship transmitted to the Council homeworld using their own secure channels. The message showed humans operating Council technology with ease. It showed Earth's defenses. It showed the hidden bases and ships humans had built. The message ended with Admiral Johnson speaking directly to the Council leaders. "We did not want this conflict. You forced it upon us. Now you have a choice. Leave us in peace to develop in our own way, or face a war you started but cannot win. In the asteroid belt, a council ship that had been disabled tried to restart its weapons. Commander Paul Wilson, watching from a nearby human vessel, gave the order. Disable their engines only. Remember, we're showing them we're better than they are. Precision weapons cut into the alien ship's engine section. The council vessel went dark, floating helpless in space. Across the solar system, the pattern was repeated. Council forces found themselves outmaneuvered by an enemy that should not have been able to fight back at all. The human response had begun. Now the galaxy would have to recognize a new power, one that refused to be contained. The Galactic Council was in chaos. Reports came in from all over the solar system about their ships being disabled and their bases captured. The Council had ruled space for thousands of years. They had never faced anything like the humans. Send the battle fleet, ordered the High Council leader from their homeworld many light years away. This rebellion must be crushed before other species learn from it. But as the Council prepared their response, something unexpected happened. A message arrived from a species called the Arxer. The Arxer had been under Council rule for centuries. They wanted to speak with Earth's leaders. President Kate Foster sat in the secure underground room beneath the White House. On the screen in front of her was a reptilian face. The being had scales that shimmered with green and gold colors. Its eyes were large and yellow. I am Representative Mailer of the Arxer, the alien said. We have watched your response to the Council with great interest. Why have you contacted us? President Foster asked. She was careful. This could be a trick. For thousands of years, the Council has used its head start to rule over younger species, Mailer explained. They find new intelligent life, then force them to obey Council laws. If a species grows too quickly, they are contained or destroyed, like they tried to do to us, President Foster said. Yes, but none have resisted as well as humans have, Mailer said. This has created opportunities. The reptilian being explained that many species were unhappy under Council rule. The Arxer, the silicon-based Dravak, the water-dwelling Neurites, and others had been waiting for a chance to break free. But they lacked the courage or the innovation to challenge the Council alone. Your defiance has given us hope, Mailer said. We wish to form an alliance. President Foster called an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders and military commanders. Can we trust them? Asked General Carlos Martinez from the Mars Command Center. We need to be careful, Admiral Johnson said. But think about it. We've gone from facing extinction to potentially leading a revolution in galactic politics. All because they underestimated what happens when you back humans into a corner, General Martinez added with a grim smile. Earth agreed to the alliance with caution. The Arxer provided valuable intelligence on Council fleet movements. The Dravak shared advanced materials that humans had never seen before. The Neurites showed how to use biology and technology together in new ways. On a secure channel, Mailer spoke with President Foster again. Our spies report that the Council is sending a fleet of 50 ships to your system, the Arxer said. They will arrive in 2 Earth weeks. We'll be ready, President Foster promised. At the edge of the solar system, Captain Jim Barrett commanded the defense station near Neptune. His team had been working nonstop to prepare new weapons based on Council technology. The quantum disruptors are online, reported his second-in-command, Linda Wells. When their fleet arrives, we can shut down their engines just like we did with the patrol ships. Will it work on so many ships at once? Jim asked. We think so, Linda said, but we won't know for sure until they get here. In the asteroid belt, the mining colonies have been transformed into shipyards. New vessels with hybrid human-alien technology were being completed daily. They were smaller than Council ships, but faster and more adaptable. On Mars, defense systems hidden under the surface were activated. Giant cannons rose from the red soil, pointing to space. At Hope Point in the Kuiper Belt, Captain Stephen Jackson watched as refugee ships arrived from the Arxer and other allied species. They brought families seeking freedom from council rule. "We started this by defending ourselves," Stephen told his team. "Now we're fighting for something bigger, the right of all species to grow in their own way." Across the solar system, humans and their new allies prepared for the coming battle. The Council had started this conflict by threatening humanity. Now they would face the consequences of that mistake. One Earth year after the destruction of the UES Curiosity, representatives from 27 species gathered in a new space station orbiting Europa. The station was built in just 3 months, showing the amazing speed at which humans could work when needed. The remaining leaders of the once powerful Galactic Council were there too. They had no choice. The war they started had ended faster than anyone thought possible. When the Council's battle fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system, they found not just humans waiting for them, but ships from a dozen rebel species. The quantum disruptors worked better than expected. Most of the Council fleet was disabled without firing a shot. A few Council ships fought back. 3 human outposts were destroyed. But within days, the Council forces had surrendered. The cost had been high, but the victory was complete. Now it was time to build a new future. Chancellor Peter Davis had been elected to represent humanity at this historic meeting. He stood in the center of the great round room and looked at the beings from so many different worlds. "The old Council threatened us because they feared change," he said. "They tried to stop human innovation because it upset their comfortable way of life. But stopping progress is like trying to hold back the ocean. It cannot be done." The Arxer representative, Mailer, spoke next. "For too long, we accepted the Council's rule because we thought we had no choice. Humans showed us that there is always a choice. There is always hope." Over the next days, the gathered species created a new agreement. They called it the Galactic Accord. It was different from the old Council in important ways. Each species would control their own development. No one could tell another what they could or could not build. Technology would be shared, not restricted. All would benefit from new discoveries. Intervention in another species' affairs would require true agreement, not just orders from the oldest civilizations. "We do not seek to destroy the old ways entirely," said Helen Rodriguez, who signed the Accord for Earth. "We seek balance. The older species bring wisdom and experience. We bring energy and new ideas. Together, we can be stronger than either alone." The Council representatives reluctantly agreed to the new terms. They had seen what happened when they tried to contain humanity by force. It was better to work together than to face extinction. As the ceremony ended, a message arrived from deep space. It came from the UES Phoenix, the first human faster-than-light ship. Despite the Council's ban, it had been built in secret and launched just before the final battle. The ship was now 10 light-years from Earth and still accelerating. Captain Samantha Lewis sent a short message. "Stars reached. Barriers broken. This is just the beginning." The gathered aliens were shocked. Humans had gone from a planet-bound species to reaching the stars in just a few years. It confirmed why the Council had feared them, and why that fear had been a mistake. "Your kind moves very quickly," said the Dravik representative, a being made of living crystal. "It is somewhat frightening." Chancellor Davis smiled. "We have learned that it is better to work with what frightens you than to try to destroy it. That is the lesson the Council failed to learn." As the delegates left the station, they looked out at the stars with new eyes. The galaxy was entering a time of change and growth unlike any it had seen before. The species that the Galactic Council had tried to contain now led the greatest period of exploration and discovery the universe had ever known. New worlds were found. New technologies were created. New friendships were formed between beings who looked nothing alike but shared the desire to learn and grow. The threat had come to humanity, and humanity had responded by reaching for the stars with even greater determination. And the stars had welcomed them home.